Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by an attorney, an Emmy-award winner. His latest project is a 7-part look at the trial of the century. In Trial and Error, why did O.J. win on Court TV? We welcome host Michael Ayala.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Michael, let's go beyond the mic. This series has it all, from participants, attorneys, detectives, and relatives from all sides of the courtroom. With all this content, how did you just limit it to just 7 episodes?
Yeah, that was tough. We had actually done a doc that had 10 episodes a few years back.
Wow.
And so we worked from that. That was sort of the framework for us to bring it down. And we really just sort of created these mini sort of stories within the story, the defense, the race issue, the prosecution, mistakes that were made. And we sort of just outlined it in that way. The jurors. So we took little subsets within the trial and tried to create the story that way.
As an attorney and officer of the court,
yes, sir.
How did this verdict affect the way you see the justice system?
You know, one of the things that you're taught in the justice system is that you don't substitute your judgment for those 12 jurors, right? The 12 jurors are brought into a courtroom. They're asked to bring their life experiences with them in the courtroom. That's why we're judged by a jury of our peers. And that's what happened here. I think it's safe to say there was more than enough evidence to convict O.J., but there were all these other factors involved and life experiences of the people on the jury that I think played a role in how they came to their conclusion. So in that sense, I have to say the justice system worked. They were not willing to buy some of the arguments made by the prosecution because of their distrust of police. And that's what was going on in that community at that time. And that's, I think, what led to this verdict. And again, was it just for the families? Probably not. Was it just in terms of this larger picture of our system of justice? I would have to say yes, because that was the outcome determined by 12 impartial jurors.
Michael, what was the one fact from the trial that gives you pause?
Pause in terms of what? The guilt or innocence of O.J. Simpson?
Yes.
I would have to say the footprints of the Bruno Maglia shoes. There's a very, I wouldn't say rare shoes, but they're not shoes you'll find every day. They were in his size. There were footsteps all over the place. To suggest that the police would have taken these shoes, doused them in blood, made footprints, seems a bit of a stretch to me. Some of the jurors that I've spoken to suggest, well, if there were all these footprints at the scene, where were the footprints in the car? There was only a tiny smudge of blood, but he had these bloody shoes. You know, he could have easily taken them off, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of answers to questions if you were looking for them. But those footprints there, I mean, it just, to me, very difficult to get over.
Michael Ayala from Court TV's Trial and Error, Why Did O.J. Win? Joins us for the Rockin' 8. Michael, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to mind. There's no pressure. Favorite memory of Brooklyn?
Brooklyn Technical High School, where I went to high school. Just the greatest 4 years of my life.
What's the best score on your Mattel Classic Football 2?
Ooh, best score, Mattel Classic Football. And I was a big fan of that. And, you know, it's tough for me to remember my scores on that, but I would probably say something in the 80s.
What's the color of your lucky suit, and when was the last time you wore it?
I have a gray suit that has blue pinstripes on it, and I love it. And I wore it about 2 weeks ago at my son was trying out for high school soccer. And I wore it to one of his tryouts just to say, okay, I'm going to give it everything I could. And he actually made the team. So I'm very excited about that.
Last Clemson football game you were able to see?
My very best friend in life, son, plays at Clemson. And we went to the Georgia Tech game. So I got to see him play there.
One chore your wife always depends on you to do?
Ooh, gosh. I'm the garbage dish guy. And that's basically, you know, if I don't do it, I can find myself in some serious trouble.
What makes futsal such a fun sport to watch?
Oh, gosh, futsal is clearly one of my favorite sports. It is one of those that the speed of the game, the decision making, I think the speed of the game would probably be my one answer to that. It's just so fast, and these kids are so passionate about it. It's wonderful.
Which court case verdict surprised you that wasn't O.J.?
Court case that surprised me that wasn't O.J. I would have to go, gosh, what was her name? Kirk Nurmi represented her, and its name is escaping me. She was charged with killing her daughter. Her daughter disappeared. She blamed it on the father, and the name is escaping me at the moment. Oh, God.
Could you take Vinny the Hitman Peloton on a basketball court in a game of horse?
I got to be honest with you. No, Vinny is a tremendous athlete, and I don't think I could beat him. He's really something special. He was a big time high school star. In basketball. So no, I would have to say, unfortunately, I think Vinny would probably beat me.
We're sneaking in one more with Michael Ayala from Trial and Error, Why Did OJ Win on Court TV. This is the first super case. Mm-hmm. Would the true crime obsession that's exploded since this case happen if it wasn't televised?
No, I don't think it would have. I think this is where people began to realize what drama plays out in courtrooms. This was a case that had everything. It had, beautiful people. It had celebrity. It had really sort of these larger than life attorneys. People began to realize that all these stories are being told in courtrooms around the country. And I think without it being televised, they might not have realized that. So the allowance of cameras in the courtroom, I think, made a huge difference and was really the key to, the development of this true crime boom, without question.
Time for one big question with Michael Ayala, Beyond the Mic. What's the biggest unforced error from both sides, in your opinion, as an attorney?
Oh, no question. The trying on the glove by Chris Darden. It was something that he did unilaterally from our understanding of the case. He did not discuss it with any of his higher ups or his co-counsel. He decided to do it on his own. Huge, huge error. As far as the defense, I'm not sure they made many mistakes. At the end of the day, one of the things that I've always taken away from the trial was the way that the dream team sort of commanded the courtroom, and in particular, Johnny Cochran, how he commanded not only the courtroom, but the courthouse steps as well. The way he commanded the media, the way he got his message out, and the way he sort of tacked on to a plan and stuck to that plan, this idea that this was, a frame job by the police. And he just masterfully wove that story and that narrative, and it led him all the way to an acquittal.
The justice system worked. He loves the speed of futsal and wants you to watch Trial and Error, Why Did OJ Win on Court TV. Michael Ayala, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.